Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews topical developments and ongoing cooperation with his Sri Lankan counterpart Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Tomorrow is the last date of registration for Prime Minister's Pariksha Pe Charcha interactive program. Information and Broadcasting Minister inaugurates exhibitions at 6 places to commemorate 75 years of India's independence. Health Minister Harshvardhan says India has highest recovery rate of COVID-19, inaugurates multiple facilities at All India Institute of Medical Sciences at Bhopal. Director General of Civil Aviation DGCA asks airlines to deboard passengers who do not wear their masks despite repeated warnings. India's total vaccination coverage nears 3 crore mark. Preparations in full swing for upcoming assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. Election Commission asks Chief Secretary of West Bengal to furnish details on the attack on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Amarnath Yatra to commence on June 28 and conclude on August 22nd. And in cricket, India to take on England in second 2020 international match at Ahmedabad tomorrow. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. They reviewed topical developments and the ongoing cooperation between India and Sri Lanka in bilateral and multilateral forums. They agreed to maintain regular contact between relevant officials, including in the context of the continuing COVID-19 challenges. Mr. Modi reiterated the importance of Sri Lanka to India's neighbourhood first policy.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the demand for Ayurvedic products is steadily rising. He said the current situation presents a right time for Ayurveda and traditional medicine to become even more popular globally. Addressing the 4th Global Ayurveda Festival through virtual mode yesterday, Mr. Modi said people are realizing the benefits of Ayurveda and its role in boosting immunity.
The current situation presents a right time for Ayurveda and traditional medicines to become even more popular globally. There is growing interest towards them. The world is seeing how modern and traditional medicines both are important to further wellness. People are realizing the benefits of Ayurveda and its role in boosting immunity.
The Prime Minister has assured full support to the world of Ayurveda. He said this is the ideal time to think about worldwide wellness. The Prime Minister suggested that perhaps a global summit could be organized on this theme. Talking about the potential for wellness tourism in India, the Prime Minister said that at the core of wellness tourism is the principle of treat illness, further wellness. Tomorrow is the last date of registration for the Prime Minister's interactive academic program Pariksha Pe Charcha. This year's Pariksha Pe Charcha is the 4th edition and will be held virtually. Pariksha Pe Charcha is part of the larger movement Exam Warriors, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to create a stress-free atmosphere for youngsters. Students can register for it through the official site of MyGov on innovateindia.mygov.in. A report.
On popular demand this time, the Prime Minister's massively popular interaction will not only have students but also parents and teachers. To get a chance to participate, students, teachers or parents can take part in Pariksha Pe Charcha competition hosted on MyGov Innovate platform. The competition is open for school students of classes 9 to 12. Each winner will get a specially designed certificate of appreciation. A small group of students from among the winners will get the opportunity to directly interact with the Prime Minister and ask him questions. Each of these special winners will also get a digital souvenir of their autographed photograph along with the Prime Minister. Suparna Saikia, IIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said discussions on vaccines, climate change and emerging technologies make the Quad a positive force for global good and for peace, stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. The Prime Minister was speaking at the first Quad leaders virtual summit last evening. Mr. Modi said Quad countries are united by democratic values and commitment to a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister Modi, along with US President Joe Biden, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, participated in the virtual summit.
It is good to be among the friends. I thank President Biden for this initiative. Excellencies, we are united by our democratic values and our commitment to a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Our agenda covering areas like vaccines, climate change and emerging technology make the Quad a force for global good. I see this positive vision as an extension of India's ancient philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which regards the world as one family. We will work together closer than ever before for advancing our shared values and promoting a secure, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific.
The Quad leaders, in a joint statement issued after the first ever Quad summit, said they support the rule of law, freedom of navigation and overflight, peaceful resolution of disputes, democratic values and territorial integrity. They reaffirmed strong support for ASEAN's unity and centrality, as well as the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today virtually inaugurated exhibitions at 6 places in the country as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav program to commemorate 75 years of India's independence. The exhibitions were inaugurated in Jammu, Imphal, Patna, Bhubaneswar, Pune and Bengaluru. Speaking after inaugurating the exhibition in Delhi, Mr. Javadekar said independence was achieved after a lot of sacrifices by the freedom fighters. He said through the exhibition people will come to know about the freedom struggle.
The Director General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, has asked airlines to deboard passengers who do not wear their masks properly despite repeated warnings. The aviation regulator said there must be strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols by air travellers. The DGCA said it has been noticed that some travellers undertaking air journey do not adhere to COVID-19 protocols and do not wear masks properly or maintain social distancing after entering airport premises. The DGCA has also directed that passengers shall wear masks and maintain social distancing norms at all times during air travel. The mask shall not be moved below the nose except under exceptional circumstances. In Uttar Pradesh, President Ramnath Kovind has arrived in Varanasi on a 3-day visit to Purvanchal. Governor Anandiben Patel and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath received the President at the airport. During the visit, the President will pay obeisance at Baba Vishwanath Temple. Besides programs at Varanasi, the President will also participate in several programs in Sonbhadra and Mirzapur districts.
It is for the first time that the President Ramnath Kovind was present in the world-famous Ma Ganga Aarti at Kashi this evening. The special Maha Aarti of Ma Ganga was performed by 9 archaks. The grandiosity of program was multifold by 18 Kanyas participated in the form of Riddhi Siddhi. The Shashwamedh Ghat is richly decorated with flowers, garlands and illuminated by lamps. Governor Anandiben Patel and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also witnessed the spiritual evening. MS Yadav, Area News, Varanasi.
Preparations are in full swing for the upcoming assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry. The withdrawal of candidature ended yesterday for the first phase of assembly polls in Assam and West Bengal. In Assam, 47 assembly constituencies will go to polls on the 27th of this month during the first phase, while polling will be held in 30 assembly constituencies of West Bengal in this phase. In Assam, 269 candidates are in the fray in the first phase of assembly elections. Process of filing of nomination papers for the second phase of assembly polls in Assam and West Bengal also concluded yesterday. 39 assembly constituencies of Assam and 30 assembly constituencies of West Bengal will go to polls on the 1st of April in the second phase. Filing of nomination papers has also begun for the single-phase assembly elections in Kerala, Tamil Nadu as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry. All the 140 assembly constituencies of Kerala, 234 in Tamil Nadu along with 30 in Puducherry will go to polls together on the 6th of April. The counting of votes in the 4 states and the Union Territory will take place on the 2nd of May. In West Bengal, the Election Commission has sought more details from the Chief Secretary of the state on the alleged attack incident involving Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The EC said the report submitted by the State Chief Secretary on her injuries was not comprehensive enough. The Chief Secretary, Mr. Alapon Bandyopadhyay, has been directed to provide further clarification and elaborated report by this evening. It may be recalled that the Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Party leader Mamata Banerjee sustained injuries to her left leg after she was allegedly pushed by unidentified people during her election campaign on the 10th of March. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Now here is a review of this week's Parliament proceedings. Writer is V. Mohan Rao, senior journalist. The passage of the National Capital Territory of Delhi Laws Special Provisions Bill 2021 aimed at regularizing unauthorized colonies in Delhi is one of the major highlights of the second part of the Parliament's budget session, which began on Monday. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have adopted the bill. Both houses witnessed repeated adjournments as the Congress-led opposition continued to protest against the hike in prices of petroleum products and the protest by farmers on the Delhi borders demanding the repeal of the 3 farm laws passed by the government. On the opening day, the Lok Sabha was adjourned for an hour after paying tributes to 2 sitting and 7 former members who passed away recently, and then again till 7 p.m. due to opposition's protests over the rise in fuel prices as they demanded a discussion. Amid protest, the Speaker announced that the House will meet from 11 a.m. on Tuesday, as was the practice before the timing was shifted to 4 p.m. due to COVID-19 protocols. He also conveyed the wishes of Lok Sabha to women members for their achievements and contribution to the nation on the occasion of International Women's Day. The Speaker rejected notices of adjournment motion moved by opposition members. He repeatedly appealed to the protesting members to let the House function so that women members can raise their issues on International Women's Day. As a goodwill gesture, Mr. Om Birla announced that women members will chair the proceedings to mark the day. Later, the House was finally adjourned for the day as the opposition continued to protest.
The Rajya Sabha also witnessed repeated adjournments on the first day, with the opposition Congress demanding a discussion on the hike in petroleum products. The House faced 4 adjournments till it was adjourned finally for the day. Leader of the opposition Mallikarjun Kharge gave notice for suspension of business in the House to discuss what he called a huge and frequent increase in prices of petrol, diesel and LPG, even when global prices are running low. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu disallowed his notice but suggested him to make a mention of the matter. However, he said the issue can be debated during the course of discussion on the appropriation bill. Mr. Kharge insisted on his demand for a discussion. Following this, the Congress members started to protest. On the 8th of March, the International Women's Day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu lauded the role of women and said it is time to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political contributions and achievements of women across the globe and honor their indomitable spirit. He said it is a day to take stock of the hurdles coming in the way of ensuring women their due in all walks of life. Mr. Naidu praised the services rendered by women for the development and prosperity of the nation. He also underlined the need to ensure an environment that allows women to express themselves to their full potential in the form of both words and deeds. Several women members spoke on the occasion, with some demanding reservation for women in Parliament and state assemblies to enable them to get adequate representation. The Rajya Sabha decided to resume normal working hours from Tuesday. The upper house was meeting for 5 hours from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. during the budget session due to COVID-19 restrictions. Vandana Chavan, who was in the chair, announced that on the request received from several members from various parties, the chairman has decided that the sitting of the Rajya Sabha will commence from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. as per usual timings of the House from Tuesday. Later, she adjourned the House for the day. Earlier, when the House met, Biswajit Daimari from Assam, Dinesh Chandra Jamal Bhai Anavadia and Ram Bhai Harji Bhai Mukharia, both from Gujarat, took oath of office.
The Lok Sabha has failed to transact any legislative business for the second day on Tuesday, with the opposition stalling the proceedings amid din over the hike in the prices of the petroleum products. After two adjournments due to disruptions caused by opposition members, mainly from the Congress, the House was adjourned for the day a little after 2 p.m. The Rajya Sabha also failed to transact any business for the second day on Tuesday after opposition members led by the Congress created uproar over rising prices of petroleum products. The House was adjourned twice in the pre-lunch period. When the House met at 2 p.m., Deputy Chairman Harivansh urged the protesting members to allow the proceedings to continue, but the unrelenting opposition members trooped into the well and raised slogans, forcing its adjournment finally for the day. The Deputy Chairman said 4 notices for suspension of rules to take up a discussion on the issue of increase in prices of petrol and diesel in the country have been received from the Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge, Satish Chandra Mishra of BSP, Tiruchi Siva of the DMK and Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Shiv Sena. He said since the chairman had disallowed a similar notice on Monday, his ruling cannot be reopened. The situation was the same when the House reassembled at 2 p.m. as the opposition members continued to demand a discussion. The Deputy Chairman appealed to the protesting members, including those in the well, to return to their seats. He said the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 should be taken up as it sought to replace the ordinance, but the unrelenting opposition members continued with their protests. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad also insisted on taking up the bill, saying its passage is essential. Mr. Harivansh then asked Manoj Jha of the RJD to speak on the bill, who said the House was not in order. When the House met at noon, the Deputy Chairman urged the protesting members to take their seats and allow the question hour to go on. The opposition members, however, continued to protest, raising slogans against the government. Then the House was adjourned for the day.
Parliament on Wednesday gave its seal of approval to the National Capital Territory of Delhi Law's Special Provisions Second Amendment Bill 2021, aimed at regularizing the unauthorized colonies in Delhi, with the Lok Sabha adopting it. The bill was earlier passed by the Rajya Sabha. Replying to the debate on the bill, Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri said the bill would give protection to unauthorized colonies from sealing till the 31st of December 2023. The minister said that the population of Delhi as per 2011 census is 1.6 crore, which is likely to touch the 2 crore mark, if not higher, by 2021 census. Mr. Puri said that no government in the past had taken up the issue with any degree of seriousness. He said there are around 1,700 unauthorized colonies in Delhi. The bill was passed amid protests by Congress members over the 3 farm laws. The continued uproar by them forced the chair to adjourn the House for the day. The House also discussed on the demand for grants for the Railway Ministry. The House witnessed sparring between BJP and Shiv Sena members as they accused each other of non-cooperation over important infrastructure initiatives like the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train and Mumbai Metro project in Maharashtra. While Railway Minister Piyush Goyal accused the Uddhav Thackeray-led Mahavikas Aghadi government of stalling the bullet train project, the Shiv Sena accused the centre of not cooperating with the state dispensation over the Metro car shed project. Mr. Goyal said it was because of the ego of the state government that the Metro car shed issue still remained unsolved. After the formation of the government, the Shiv Sena changed the Metro car shed site from R.A. Colony to Kanjur Marg. The Kanjur Marg land belongs to the centre. A verbal duel began during question hour when Pratap Rao Jadhav of the Shiv Sena asked whether there are any plans to run a bullet train between Mumbai and Nagpur. Replying to this, Mr. Goyal said Prime Minister Narendra Modi strongly desires that the country has an advanced technology, railways run faster, and people get world-class facilities. For the same purpose, work on a high-speed railway line between Mumbai and Ahmedabad was being undertaken, the minister said. He also clarified that the decisions were taken swiftly and work also started on it rapidly. The world's best technology was brought to India, Mr. Goyal said. The minister expressed anguish that since the new government was formed in Maharashtra, the work has almost stopped. He said the land acquisition started at a fast pace and 95% of land under the jurisdiction of Gujarat has been acquired. Land from the Dadra and Nagar Haveli has also been acquired, but there is hardly any progress on the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train after the new government came to power in the state in 2019. He said only 24% of land required for the work under the jurisdiction of Maharashtra has been acquired.
Earlier, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi told the Lok Sabha that Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted to make a statement in the House on the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to celebrate 75 years of India's independence, but was not able to do so due to continued disruptions in Parliament. Proceedings of the Rajya Sabha were also disrupted for the third day on Wednesday after the Congress-led opposition members created noisy scenes soon after their demand for a discussion on the farm laws was disallowed by the chair. The House was adjourned finally for the day a little after 2 p.m. The upper house, however, passed the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 by voice vote when it reassembled at 2 p.m. The bill was passed by the Lok Sabha on the 12th of February. The bill, replacing an ordinance promulgated on the 4th of November 2020, seeks to ensure that all stakeholders get an opportunity to seek unconditional stay on enforcement of arbitral awards when the agreement or contract is induced by fraud or corruption. Replying to the debate on the bill, Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said it makes the provision to avoid payment of taxpayers' money as award in those cases where the agreement or contract is induced by fraud or corruption. The minister said the government wants that there should be fair arbitration in India. It's intention that people should not loot taxpayers' money through arbitration award, he said. Soon after that, members belonging to the Congress and other opposition parties demanded a discussion on 3 farm laws already passed by the Parliament. Leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge said notices have been given under relevant rules for the suspension of the listed business for the day to discuss the 3 farm laws and issues related to farmers who are protesting across the country. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that he disallowed the notices given by several members in this regard. He, however, suggested that the members can have a discussion on the farmers' issue while participating in the discussion on the Ministries of Agriculture, Rural Development and Food Processing. As the opposition raised slogans, the chairman adjourned the House till noon. When the House reassembled at noon, Deputy Chairman Harivansh called for the question hour to be taken up, but the opposition members continued with their protests by trooping into the well of the House demanding repeal of the farm laws. The Deputy Chairman adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
Earlier, Chairman Mr. Naidu called upon MPs to take part in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav planned by the government to mark India's 75 years of independence from the 12th of March. Mr. Naidu said as India shall be entering into the 75th year of independence, to mark this occasion, the government has planned Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from this month, which will continue till the 15th of August 2023. He urged the members to take part in the Mahotsav in large numbers and in various capacities and spread the values and ideals which our freedom fighters always stood for and helped our country gain freedom from the yoke of the colonial rule. Both houses of parliament are scheduled to meet on Monday, the 15th of March. Thursday was a holiday on account of Mahashivratri. At a meeting of Business Advisory Committee, it was decided that both the houses will not function on Friday. And that is all in Weekly Parliament Review.
India's total vaccination coverage is nearing the 3 crore mark. Over 2 crore 82 lakh people have been administered COVID-19 vaccines in the country so far. The Health Ministry said that more than 20,53,000 people have been inoculated with COVID-19 doses in the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate reached 96.82%. A total number of 24,882 new cases have been reported in the country in the past 24 hours. Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare Dr. Harshvardhan said that the medical fraternity performed the best in the battle of corona and our country has the highest recovery rate of COVID-19. He was speaking after inaugurating multiple facilities at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh today. A report.
Union Health Minister said that everyone in medical fraternity, from health professionals to ASHA workers in corona era, served the community. Due to their efforts, we have been able to perform the best in the battle of corona all over the world. He said that today our country has the highest recovery rate. He said that the year 2020 will be remembered for the contribution of scientists and medical professionals in fight against corona. Praising leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Minister said that the process of vaccination against COVID has become a mass movement. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the 56-day-long annual pilgrimage to the holy cave shrine of Sri Amarnath Ji will commence on June the 28th and will conclude on August the 22nd. Decision over the commencement of the Amarnath pilgrimage from June 28th this year was taken in a meeting of Sri Amarnath Ji Shrine Board. The board has said it will continue the live telecast virtual darshan of morning and evening aarti. Besides, the traditional rituals will be carried as per past practice. In cricket, India, after being outclassed in the 2020 International Series opener in Ahmedabad, will look to fight back in the 5-match series as they face England in the second T20 at the same venue tomorrow. India went into the first T20 with 6 bowling options, but their batsmen were blown away by the England pacers yesterday. Apart from Shreyas Iyer, every other Indian batsman struggled for timing, but a major concern for the hosts going into the second T20 will be the form of skipper Virat Kohli. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is likely to have mist in the morning. The temperature will hover between 16 and 32 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 22 degrees. Maximum is expected to be around 36. Chennai is expected to have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will vary between 22 and 33 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 34 degrees. Srinagar will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 4 and 9 degrees. Jammu will have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night. The minimum temperature will be 15 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 24. Leh is expected to have partly cloudy sky with minimum temperature around -5 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 8 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 9 and 17 degrees. Muzaffarabad is likely to have rain or snow. The minimum temperature will be 9 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 16. Dehradun will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum temperature will be 15 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 30 degrees. Chandigarh will have generally cloudy sky with temperature likely to hover between 14 and 32 degrees. In Hyderabad, partly cloudy sky towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature will be 21 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 36 degrees. Ahmedabad will have clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 21, maximum around 37. Patna will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will move between 20 and 32 degrees. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be around 20, maximum will be 30 degrees. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews topical developments and ongoing cooperation with his Sri Lankan counterpart Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Tomorrow is the last date of registration for Prime Minister's Pariksha Pe Charcha interactive program. Information and Broadcasting Minister inaugurates exhibitions at 6 places to commemorate 75 years of India's independence. Health Minister Harshvardhan says India has highest recovery rate of COVID-19, inaugurates multiple facilities at All India Institute of Medical Sciences at Bhopal. Director General of Civil Aviation DGCA asks airlines to deboard passengers who do not wear their masks despite repeated warnings. India's total vaccination coverage nears 3 crore mark. Preparations in full swing for upcoming assembly elections in West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. Election Commission asks Chief Secretary of West Bengal to furnish details on the attack on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Amarnath Yatra to commence on June 28th and to conclude on August 22nd. And in cricket, India to take on England in second 2020 international match at Ahmedabad tomorrow. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.